realised that if they had lost at this point, chances are they'd lost the second map and probably had tried to use May there and thought, well, if it's not working in second map, it's probably not going to work on the third map either, so let's try and mix things up and keep them guessing. Because let's not forget, that's when they looked strongest on Numbani on the defense, when they brought out this soldier comp with the Ana and then the dive heroes as well. Everything played into their favour there, so again, why not keep on trying to upset Gigantti and keep them guessing?
I like Team Gigantti on defense first. It's going to be Winstrike running offense against them. Team Gigantti operating with that Sombra Doomfist, as we see on Hanamura quite a lot. They're going to spy the entire composition. You can see that, well, Chow. Chow went forward. He tried to find that Sombra. Davin able to get away from it. There's Team Gigantti going to be holding a lot of position, and Winstrike changing it up. Main going on to the Moira to provide more healing for his team. They're going to press forward with that option instead of the Zen.
And Davin gets free 20% charge at the start of that round. No one's had to do anything yet. It's been 30 seconds. It's been the most peaceful start of Rise ever.
Nice seismic slam there from Zillity. Already finding out Main. Taking the wind out of Winstrike sails. And Zuffy going to find Eng after the fact as well. This is all over. They just need to die here, reset, because you're not getting anything for this.
It's literally a shooting range when it comes around to going through there as well. It's such a horrible little stretch to run through because there are so many angles, whether it's from the point, whether it's the high ground. Everyone can just plaster you with bullets and projectiles, and you might well lose someone, or at least lose a good chunk of health on the way through. Sadly for Gigantti, or Winstrike, sorry, they lost 2.
Too many, unfortunately.
Too many.
Can't get up the stairs, can't go out into space, just confined chokehold. Look, Zillity's going to do it again. Jumps in. Doesn't get the uppercut that time. Misses the rocket punch as well, but it's still going to get Kenzie because he's just isolated from the rest of the team. That is enough for Winstrike to keep going. They want to take the high ground, hold this position. It's a lot easier for one person to try and sneak through than it is for 6. Instead, can try and rotate around to the point, taking on the Doomfist to see where he's going. Davin in stealth, got EMP available, might not need to use it. Shaq's already found a kill after getting a D-mate onto Zappis. Davin has to fly himself back out there. Milky Man answering onto Eng. Coalescence available for Main. Chow's about to get that self-destruct himself.
I also want to go to the fight. A bit scared actually. So Zillity even hanging around himself like, do we really want to go for this right now? And actually gives Winstrike the window to get in and start threatening the point here as well. They can't hold the point right now, and they've got members on there themselves from Winstrike time to fight this off.
Big man off to the side. Winstrike getting themselves on the point. Self-destruct being used. Buy some more time. Stun up there onto Zillity. Not going to be able to do much. He's got a Brigitte in his face. Transcendence being used by Lurabo. Keeping the rest of Gigantti alive. Comes up too late to save Zillity though. Zappe going to get a D-mech unfixed. Going to take his life for it. I know which trade I'd rather take with this one. 37.1% on the board for Winstrike. They're just getting more and more kills at the back of unfixed Brigitte. He moves forward, get this D-mech on Zappis. You don't want to stall out here, you want to kill him as fast as possible, get that percentage rolling back up again. Milky Man throwing himself in, but that's going to be Winstrike taking point A.
Yeah, Gigantti almost a bit scared. Milky Man was in there by himself fighting, and Zillity was looking at it like, nah, missing with that one, Chief. Didn't want to get in the fight himself. That gave Winstrike time to ball up a 6 just underneath the point itself, and then push around one direction and take the point as a unit. Gigantti, I think we're still waiting for someone to come out from spawn, so it's a bit unfortunate timing. You will often lose that first point. They should have a much better time defending the second point now. Look where Zillity is. He's on high, waiting to try and catch as many members as he can with this slam.
Well, they've spread out a little bit more, so he's not going to be able to do it. He's just zoning away unfixed at this point. Waiting for the right time to jump in. He moves closer, but obviously that beam is going to be moving across the ceiling. Does cut off sight lines, but he has a rough idea where everyone is. Goes in with the elbow drop straight after Kenzie. Won't get the kill. Sound barrier is there. Meteor strike being used. It's up in the air, wants to buy time for the shields to erode. Jumps on top of Main, who will fade away with a fraction of his life. But he can't fade away twice. Zillity goes in with the follow-up. And the rest of Team Gigantti are going to clear out Winstrike.
So get away from me, please. Punching the Brigitte in the face to tell her to get the hell away. And stop those stuns coming through. Bit of a stall now coming through onto Chow. Can't imagine he'll get a kill, but Seismic Slam will definitely see the end of his life come through as well. Good defense from Gigantti, very patient as well. Zillity, very easy for him on that high ground on the frames up top to just descend and try and catch someone out, but instead waited and waited and waited until he saw Kenzie and the opportunity to dive. I think it's a Winstrike here. They do have the self-destruct combo online. Zillity with the last second switch as well going over to the Pharah. He had a fantastic Pharah game last week. I'd love to see him do the same today.
Got a lot of play time, a lot of play area, shall we say, on this second map. Grabs on surge, pulls in Milky Man, solo. Where's the shield to block out Chow's self-destruct? There isn't one, so they give away free charge on that capture point. Zillity going to be flying around in the air, 46%. In close to that ult, peppering rockets into Chow, but he didn't get the healing he needed to stay alive. EMP coming in for Davin, but they're not on the point. Round 1 complete. Winstrike, give him the duration.
You get an EMP set up like that and you still manage to step up the point.
Because he's stealth. If he's stealth, he can't
But
contest.
he EMP'd and still wasn't on the point. I think he was just off point as he EMP'd.
That's unfortunate.
Or maybe he was just not so much boots off, but slightly nudged off by a character model. I don't know, but either way, they got the cap. 3 minutes 45 on the clock for Winstrike. Turns out the Facilities far up was not the answer.
It wasn't when he didn't get any support. He literally had to try and deal with Chow, who wasn't even giving him full attention. He was fighting on the ground whilst also occasionally looking up at where Facility is. It's kind of like the look your dog gives you when he's guilty, just like, what? Okay, just goes back
I've
to
been
doing what
caught.
he's doing.
Aha, I can kill that person.
Oh, wait.
Fly at them.
Wait, I can kill them with kindness and cuteness. They'll forget everything about it. Facility taken out of the sky just by cute looks, apparently.
Apparently. Well, Winstrike now, they're going to be the ones opting onto the defense. Looks like they're going to roll out with, again, that Mace setup. So kind of refuting the strategy that I had earlier on, which was the idea, a theory, that around they expected if they lost the second map and got to choose to come to Horizon, then they would not be wanting to run this May Goats. But indeed, looks like they are. So maybe what they've actually said is, well, we found much better use on Horizon for the May rather than we have on Hanamura. And they've used it very well on Hanamura, let's not forget as well. So I'm expecting big things. I hope they can provide.
Expecting big things doesn't always deliver big things.
No.
Winstrike opting for the May. Like Dez alludes to, if they're choosing Horizon, they've got purpose to do so. Kenzie on this May might be able to provide that. You want to see what they're going to do with it. They're hiding around this corner to begin with. Going to have to press forward afterwards. But Team Gigantti, falling with a traditional Goats, but they're putting Zappe on that Moira.
The nice thing with this comp, or nice thing of defending against Goats, is that it can only go one of two ways. It either goes right up the stairs or goes outside, or it tries to push to the left. In both cases, there are a couple of chokes they have to play through where Kenzie can have that wall available and try and catch them out. And in fact,
they've it up.
Exactly, they've realised, okay, there is a May here, he's going to wall us off, he's going to isolate us, and we're going to lose. Do we need to change something up here? Looks like that will be the exact thing they're trying to do. They're keeping a couple of members around, though. Just changing out Zuppe, for example, putting him across onto that Zen.
Want to be able to shred through the beefier members coming on to Winstrike.
Yes.
Of course, Kenzie, while not a tank on this May, has a few more defensive options, so you want to burst in quick before he pulls them out. Oh, going for the debate. Don't want to make it obvious which way they're going to come in here.
Mind games.
They want to bait out the wall because they don't want to have an isolated member. So they're going to play around these chokes, go in and out as much as they can. And look, they're even going upstairs to take high ground now, and Winstrike don't know how to react.
They can descend on this here unless you can get it on the wall almost perfectly. It's very easy to overshoot a little bit though. There we go, gets it perfect.
Nice isolation. Milky Man gets the shield to keep him alive. He's going to back out of the point. Hang on a minute, Shadow's gone down really low, so is Kenzie. Has to back off. Ice block being used way too early.
Wall's back online.
Will get himself back up there. Wall, perfect. Gets Davin locked up, but the rest of them are on top of it, riding high. Milky Man will drop down. They're trading out tanks to take the brunt of the force, and Main's going to take out Milky Man eventually. They did lose one member, and they've got a long distance from their spawn room, but Winstrike seem to have control of the situation.
Gigantti did play that attack very smart though, starting on the high ground. You think as soon as it's blocked off, there's no way they can get through. The thing is, on the high ground, you can very quickly drop onto the low ground and rotate round to the left, or if you really want to go a little bit longer, go round to the right-hand side instead. And that's exactly what happened. One or two members dropped on the point. Every other member of the team rotated round to the right-hand side and got themselves involved in the fight. This time Kenzie was pretty on point with the walls as well, isolating out members, and able Main to get that one crucial pickup, which ultimately won them the point.
Going to emerge through, no wall to block him this time. Shadow thrown down, Milky Man going to be killed off. Unfixed there with the stun to make sure that happens. And now Kenzie's sitting on a blizzard while Team Gigantti's in full retreat. This is all coming up Winstrike as the wall cutting off avenues of escape for Team Gigantti. And the bloodbath continues as Winstrike blows them away.
Yes, they do. Managed to shut them down again. It's 1 minute 50 on the clock, so feels very much so the same as Numbani. 2 or 3 attacks it's up for Gigantti to figure out a response to what Winstrike were bringing to the table. For Gigantti, just like you mentioned yesterday, sometimes the best response is just to amass ultimates and go for it.
Yep.
But Winstrike have been doing exactly the same. They did have to burn Trans and Shatter in that last fight, but they do have that panic button in the May Blizzard if they want to. So you're looking towards Zappis here, maybe to keep an eye on Kenzie and eat that Blizzard up when they go for the push.
You always want to try and combo that with the Graviton Surge as well, because, well, they're trapped in the middle, then they're guaranteed to be frozen up afterwards as well. So nice layered CC effect that comes in for Winstrike. Milky Man dropping down. He's got a Shatter. He's forced Winstrike off the point. Hang on a minute. What's Chow doing? Going down very low. They've given up control. Now they have to attack Gigantti on this point. And the wall's already been used. Graviton Surge keeps them at the choke. Graviton Surge being answered as well. Self-destruct around the corner. I think they're going to be fine and dodge all of this out. Kenzie, the only one to be caught out with the Shatter, couldn't commit to it. Davin going to find him because he charges in after the Blizzard expires. Team Gigantti got control of point A, will send Winstrike back.
I can say 2 or 3 attacks, and Gigantti do seem to find a response every single time to what Winstrike are brought out, or so we've seen as a theme on these 2 maps, Numbani and now Horizon. Thing is, they get to push here with about 4.5 minutes remaining. They've got 45 seconds to cap if they want to match the time that has come out of Winstrike so far.
What have they got in their arsenal to keep momentum play going here? Not much. They've just got the rally from Visility. There's a couple of defensive ultimates aboard. You've got main available with that Transcendence. Shatter, of course, has got a Shatter to kill any rollover from point A and really burn into this time bank that Gigantti have got.
I like how much slower and smarter Goats has to play when it's playing against a Mei, because you know you can get caught out so ridiculously easy, but they're pushed into the open side of it now, on the one side, matched by Winstrike on the other. Now it's going to reward the ults.
Shatter's going to be fine there, stunned up, so they know the shield backs down, but they're taking the fight. Nice response there, throws it down to multiple members from Team Gigantti as Winstrike going to shut this down. Zap is about to get demec'd and they have to stall in play. This is bad news for Gigantti.
Freezing time, boys. The wall to begin. Yep.
Oh, I messed it up.
Kenzie.
But they still got control of it. They just block him. Oh. Bye, Zappis. Oh, there he is, the duration. Yes. Beautiful. This is cyberbullying at its finest.
Another rest of the team are coming back and they haven't even killed him yet.
They're going to wall him off. They finally got him.
Fair play, Sharek. Oh, my
the
word.
timing on that charge was fantastic.
I love how we both quietened down towards the end in anticipation. This
anticipation of the splat.
The sudden celebration.
But Kenzie's nearly got ult available again, and so is the Graviton online for Chow. This is not looking good for Gigantti. 3 minutes turn on the clock. If they do that again, I feel like we might see someone disconnect from the game. It'll probably be Zappis.
Maybe, just maybe, but I'm pretty sure I'll be staying in this one as well. Once Gigantti the best chance of getting into playoffs if they win today. They make playoffs. Winstrike have already qualified. Let's not forget, that's what the teams are playing
There's
for.
the Graviton. He's off the ground. The Shatter might not be able to connect. Oh, Blizzard follows it up perfectly. Everyone's locked up for Winstrike to push through. Transcendent was keeping him alive. Not going to finish him off. Chow only taking out Davin. There we go. More kills are coming in. Gigantti going to have to reset. Still have options available to them. They've got Grab, Shatter. Of course, they're going to have a mech. Zappis. Oh, no. Zappis having flashbacks, so they're going to have to stall him. I don't think Kenzie's in position. Nope, there's the wall. Kenzie stalled him out, and it will take him out. So not as bad as last time, but still being stalled out.
I think interesting in that fight, like, I didn't fully catch it, but Sharek actually put his shield in the way of the Xenalt as well to block the healing going across. Now, it expired in the last few seconds anyway onto Milky Man, and Milky Man was left with about 150 HP. But I don't know if that was ultimately what brought Davin down. I suspect it was if he was caught inside the grab, but it was smart just to wedge that shield in there and block the healing coming out of the trance to make sure the members were easier to kill.
But there was also no counter Shatter option from Milky Man because the grab was off the ground, so he couldn't connect to the floor. Sharek's got his own Shatter. Nice response. Graviton surge. Looking to send them apart. There's the ice wall. Pulls it away. Zappis finding a double kill. Sharek and Unfix going down. The wall was already used. There was no chance of blocking it. Shatter committed onto the back line. Kenzie being knocked over. Zappis has found Chow. They're looking to find more, but they're still not able to do it. Making sort of a very long time left to our own devices. Nice use of position around the corner. Throws the Blizzard to buy herself more time, and no one's touching the point.
Whoopsie daisy.
That's a big oopsie.
They tried.
Winstrike burned a lot of the time back. So we know the Winstrike have an advantage coming into the next attempt.
I gotta say as well, I called out them quite a bit on the first map for it, but Unfixed and Sharek managed to get the combo off.
Yep.
Ultimately lost the fight, but they managed to get the bash and the shadow immediately to catch them out. Just the Pollitt wasn't fully there to be able to wipe out most of Gigantti, so now we switch things around, and Gigantti, with the lower time bank, get to attack first. 3 minutes 45 for Winstrike does mean they will go second. I'm curious to see what they mix up, because Winstrike on both maps so far, where it hasn't been King of the Hill, have held them for a good 2 to 3 minutes. If they can do so again here, and they've got more plans in their strategy book outside the one that we already saw, this could be a very successful defense.
Yeah, we didn't see multiple attempts on Numbani, so we don't know if the playbook will necessarily follow through. But Winstrike on defense first, so we're going to have a pretty good idea.
So we would hope, and off they run, toddling over to that first point, ready for defense. I'm curious to see if they choose to play high ground. There was a few times in that game where I was like, well, they're holding the point, and it's quite a risky point to play because you sacrifice all high ground to the attacking team. That's one of the last things you want to do when playing against a comp, especially when it's got things like Widowmaker in there. It's less impactful against Goats, but it's still not a good thing to be doing. I thought, well, maybe they try and play stairs. They hold the high ground, they just wall them off if they go somewhere, like they did at round start. They didn't choose to change things over there. They just never actually noticed that Zen's scarf has got the logo on.
If you were going to call it a scarf, my instinct was to call it a loincloth.
All right, loincloth, call it that.
I don't think that's accurate.
Scarf is PG.
Loincloth's PG.
So it's pretty PG, but it's you're walking on dangerous water there.
Or we're calling it a loincloth.
Yeah, I guess so.
Zenyatta has robot loins.
Robot loins.
Gigantti moving out to the offense against Winstrike. Kenzie, he's got that Mei, ready to go as expected. Taking a similar path, Team Gigantti this time. Where's the isolation coming from? Drop down, doesn't commit the wall. Good, he's not going to fall for the bait. needs to hold on to this sparingly, because if Gigantti see it used too early, they play around it, and then you're left without one of your crucial options. They're already burning time though, 1 minute 5 remaining for Gigantti.
Already taking up that high ground. This is where they found themselves in on most of their offenses last time round. Admittedly have stuff to play with, and they dropped into 2 angles there as well to make Kenzie panic.
Nice play. The wall does still divide the fight a little bit. Sharik's going to find Lilbo, so they get that advantage. Hang on a minute, Unfix is going down, but the kill's already going in favor of Winstrike. That first attempt, while creative, was not good enough to shut down Winstrike.
And because of those last couple of kills coming through a good 5 to 10 seconds after their own hero, after Unfix died, he should be able to get back to this fight ready for the next assault. There is only one opportunity, and ooh, Zappis.
He had to go outside the moon.
Yeah, did. Unlucky, my friend. They
he
left
had to go spacewalking and spacewalking off a cliff.
So that means 1 potential attack. Unfix will definitely be able to rejoin for this defense. Even Chow's up on the high ground waiting. Oh, pause come through.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but it gives a bit of tension just as the dun of the music came in to indicate that we are entering the dying moments of that, well, offense for Gigantti, you might say. Like I say, 1 final attempt for them to go. The first attack was pretty smart because they used both angles to descend on the point. Just didn't quite work out for them.
Thankfully, we have got a tied series. So if Gigantti failed to capture on the second attempt, you know, worst case scenario is that there's a loss, but the best case scenario will unfortunately be a draw. It does mean that the series will still be played out to map 4 because we'll ultimately just still have a 1-1 series.
Absolutely. Well, let's see if it plays out that way. 3 minutes 45 is not a lot to scoff at, to be honest with you. It's a very sizable time bank, basically full time. And we saw them use it very well the first minute and a half when it came around to their attack in the last round.
Someone needs to touch. They could just Maywall off this and then shatter afterwards. 5 seconds. 4. Where's the shatter? Oh,
where's the Maywall?
Interesting decision. Comes in a little bit too late. Shatter. Beautifully there. Multiple members knocked down. This is going to be a 1-5 for Winstrike. You don't even need to call it. They're going to slap straight through that Graviton Surge. Best outcome for Team Gigantti on this map, it's going to be a draw.
Much cleaner, and I've got to say I've seen more of these combos coming out of them slowly. A bit of a delay coming through. Lillibo playing troll in the final 9 seconds.
He tried.
He did. But Unfix and Sharik definitely started to get together. You saw Unfix off with Milky Man to the right-hand side, bashing him out so there's no shield available, and it made a very nice, easy, clean Shadow across the whole of the team for Sharik. I've got to see more of those combos coming out the other side as well. I haven't seen Facility pull out too many of them for his Reinhardt in the Milky Man. Maybe now they can try and use that to great effect because they've got one hell of a defense to stage.
33%, 3 minutes 45 for Winstrike. Like I said, best outcome they get from this map is a draw, and they keep the series going. They remove the possibility, if it's a draw, they remove the possibility of map number 5. Not entirely, like we said, there are slight instances where you can tie an escort map, but it's very unlikely. They lose here, but they all but guarantee they're going to have some difficulty.
Absolutely. Well, you can say the same for either team, I suppose. But like you say, at this stage for Winstrike, there's no way to lose this. Yes. Draw guaranteed at minimum for them.
Map 4 will still have stakes regardless of what the outcome is here.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
which is always good to see.
Yeah, if Gigantti could turn it around in map 4, and well, that's assuming Winstrike, of course, win this one. Even if they do draw, it does force it into the best of 3.
Nepal?
Yep. Otherwise, wait, what? It forces it into the best of 3 is in the sense of it becomes a best of 3 series with the 4 main maps because this one's a draw.
Fair enough.
Or we potentially go to a 5th map. Like you say, if Gigantti can keep this one out of the draw. Actually, no, if Gigantti can lose this one.
Right, just drop it because you've confused yourself now.
No,
you're going to confuse other people.
If Winstrike win this one,
okay,
and Gigantti win the next one, then we go into a 5th map.
Okay.
There you go. Now we can focus on what's going on here. We've wasted 45 seconds.
You didn't need to have a have a textbook for this one.
Winstrike. Oh,
going to change it up.
Debating me every single time.
You're not debating. You're just having some fun. No, Main isn't going to stay on the Honda. Don't worry about it. Their offense here with the Monkey Goats flavor. And of course, they got the Moira for the additional healing. Now they're running into traditional goats. They could have some problems with it.
They're going to change it over, I think, as well. They've acknowledged the same thing themselves. But I love how these days, like, you see someone pick something that's not goats, and you're like, Main, back on goats, please. That's the only thing we accept here in Europe.
That just sounds like comp games.
It does. Goats
Get
only,
back
please.
on goats.
Start losing. Can we go goats, please?
Yeah. Kenzie,
please stop.
Opts to go for May goats instead. Pushing forward. They got that wall. Milky Man very close to isolating him, but still going to press forward. All the Discord sat on David at the moment. Milky Man.
Ooh, so close.
If that orb was on him instead, he would have gone down. It's on David instead, unfortunately. They've isolated multiple members. They want to stick together. Kenzie pressing forward. He's frozen up. And a right click seals the deal. Milky Man going to the grave. And they're going to use that right click to harass some more. No one else from Winstrike's gone down. They're moving on to the point. Oh no, they've isolated Mr. Zappe. He's by himself. He's throwing those hands out. Took out Aang on his way down. So valiant effort. Davin's going to be forced out by the wall. Lilbo's there. He's going to have to go down. This is surely going to be Team Gigantti taking map number... Well, not Team Gigantti. Winstrike taking map number 3.
Talk about me confusing people, mate. Christ. Winstrike, the ones taking it for sure. And again, it all came down to picking off the main tank with that Mei. That's exactly why it is so potent. If a team isn't organized together and cohesive, you will get called out by things like that, and Winstrike show why their Maygoats is to be so feared.
Maygoats, watch out for it. And maybe Team Gigantti should have put in a little bit more practice against it. It's the question we keep asking, right?
I said to you earlier on, though, right? There's only one team in Europe playing it, and they refuse to scrim you. What are you going to do? Except watch past VODs and think, maybe this will work here.
So they're not the only team that plays it. They're the only team that consistently plays it. There are other options. You can play against Young and Beautiful, who, like you said, they had some creative strats on Numbani to make that happen. So
they only start only on 2 maps, though. That's the problem. So you don't get the full series, and no team plays it on Horizon except for Winstrike. That's the tough part.
Fair enough. No team plays it on Horizon. Will they play it on map number 4? We'll find out after a quick break. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders. We're about to jump into the 4th map. We're going to find out what it is very shortly, but it's Winstrike leading the series. Impressive Maygoats on map number 3 after a disappointing Numbani. Let's see how this turns out, Des, though. But Winstrike can take this series 3-1 and push themselves closer up to that first place finish and the advantageous opponent when we move towards playoffs.
Absolutely. And just as a quick note, when I was laughing at the start there, it wasn't for no reason at all. I'm not a maniac. Producer was basically demanding we fist bump before we come on camera. So it's a bit of a funny one for us, but there we go. Dorado, 4th and final map coming into it. Let's see how it rounds out. Do Winstrike take the map and the series all together, or do we see Gigantti force us into potentially a 5th map?
Could go into that tiebreaker series. Of course, that is on the PAL. Gonna have a pause, though. Hey, someone did manage to get into this one.
Maybe.
No, if someone's not in the lobby, Des, they have to pause. It actually says in the rules you cannot play 5v6, even though it feels like you are doing that sometimes.
So if I want to play with you.
Well, we don't play as a 6-stack. We're not Jaws. We don't 6-stack, right?
Wow, just call him out straight on stream.
Hey, people know that he's a 6-stacker. He's done it multiple times. Just 6 stacks at 2 AM as well, when there's barely anyone online.
I can just picture his career crumbling in front of my eyes right now because you said that.
It's not his career crumbling. It's
his
just
pro gamer career, okay?
His pro gamer.
6 stack is the way to go pro, man.
Zen one trick who got lucky and got the GM. And I'm saying this now while he's just not able to retaliate because
you know you get out there, I'll give you an earful about it as well.
I'll give you dude, my Zen is so clean.
But I love it as well.
My Zen is so clean, dude. I got GM in Korea, dude.
What SR are you again?
Yeah, never mind.
All mouth, no trousers. That's all I'm saying about you, mate.
What SR are you?
I was like 3.3.
All right. I'm the literal definition of platcaster.
Yeah, I got.
Everyone says it is a meme. It's actually true.
I got away from the new meme now, apparently, because lots of casters when they hit diamond, they're like, "Oh man, I'm not a platcaster anymore. Got to tweet a picture of that." No. The new meme now is diamond caster.
I'm just behind on the memes then, apparently.
Mate, you are ahead of us all in comedy and memes on Twitter. Don't worry about that.
Well, you call it comedy.
Some would disagree. However, Winstrike then rolling out with Captain Kenzie, not quite manning the Bastion ship as we normally see, but instead bringing out the Widowmaker. I dig it. Don't see him play it very often. As mentioned earlier on, he is the OG War of the Widows player.
And people say we just play goats here in Europe.
Just goats, EU, forehead.
Well, we might see a reason why we just play goats, because Kenzie did go very low there. Backed off. He's got the reinforcement of his team. Going to take some pop shots at the aggressing Team Gigantti. Zappis and Davin were at half HP. Need to find that target. Kenzie going down very low. Let's send in Milky Man at him, and Chow's going to pick him off. Punish him for that aggression. They're carrying behind the payload. Facility drops the shield for a second. It's enough for Kenzie to take a shot. Won't connect, unfortunately. Shooting through that monkey, who will have to disappear very quickly. Oh, what a headshot! He takes Davin off through that small arch. No pits barrier this time. And they're just hiding in his corner, waiting for reinforcements. There's not much they can do until Milky Man relieves some pressure, buys some space for his team.
They're a bit slow out the gate there, actually. I thought as soon as Gigantti saw Milky Man dive onto the Widow, they'd be like, right, push now, let's get it under the archway. Go, 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 go. But only 1 or 2 members run out, and now they're losing more members. Zappis gets dinged out of his mech. Even Facility goes down. Going to be another reset, and even for Winstrike, even if this was to fall apart here, they've had a sublime defense so far, holding them here for a good minute and a half.
Very well played by Kenzie. Got the eyes, multiple eyes. How many eyes is there on there? There's 7.
I don't know.
7 eyes on Widowmaker's helmet if you just look at the old icon. Good enough for me. Going to use that. Now we're going to see where all these members are moving. Gives that extra information to Winstrike. They can adapt before the play even happens.
Let's see what they can make happen there. Oh, Kenzie!
Davin needs to be aware of this. He knows the walls are on. He can see through and see their movements, and he wasn't prepared for a headshot around the corner.
It's alright, he's not a Widowmaker player.
That's true. But he's just a Zarya player at the moment.
There's some sort of flame in there. Despite being a prolific player in many ways as a DPS, like Widow is the one thing we've seen him yet to really shine and be the best on. I want to see him do it, but in this meta, it's not really going to happen. It's going to be a lot of goats.
Changed up the pathing this time. Team Gigantti want to try and take this high ground away from Kenzie, but of course he's got grapple hook. He's just going to move if you try and challenge him. Unfortunate.
It's more trying to ignore him, I think, by doing this.
Well, they're not ignoring him. Milky Man's dived onto him, keeping him out of the fight. Self-destruct up high will clear the airspace around the payload, because Unfixed has already found Davin. They're keeping the pressure on. They shout with that final rage available. Kenzie's gone down low, but he's getting the healing. They're battling. His health bar looks like an equalizer. You can't keep him up. Zappis going to be dropped out of his mech. Unfortunately, they cannot continue with this fight. In the meantime, Facility's going to find Eng, and Shark just throwing him off the payload. Kenzie still up with no HP until Davin finds him, probably with a left click. Looking like the health bar went down low. Main takes out Milky Man, but the fight's won by Gigantti. Now they're moving on to this market area, and you could still have that Widowmaker on there, but Kenzie is going to opt to switch over to the main.
Chow can definitely get back in time here as well if they wanted to push for it. No, he's going to cross onto Brigitte, so Unfixed, normally the one who dons, is going to be Kenzie playing it, while Unfixed being so close to that EMP might actually have enough to win it for them here if they burn out the sound barrier first and then heat EMPs.
It's a trade-off, right? You have to look at ult charge in this one. That's exactly why Winstrike have made that decision. EMP too strong to ignore. Self-destruct goes up high for Zappis, and Graviton pulling them together. Double kill for Zappis. Point A secured by Team Gigantti. We're going to keep this one rolling.
Chow, you tried, my friend, but not quite going to work out. So a good first point stall Again for Winstrike, 2 or 3 fights in a row they win. It seems to be their trademark against Gigantti for today. It seems they've run out of ideas towards the end, or Gigantti always find a solution to respond to what Winstrike are throwing at them. But it's still no mean feat being able to hold 3 minutes against Gigantti, so Winstrike with a good first point defense, now move on to second. They're still going to trade away from that Widowmaker. It is hard sometimes playing the Widow when you're on your own. It's really nice to play Widow when you're competing against an enemy Widow because you bring them down, you have free reign over the whole enemy team.
Nice EMP to start things off, but beautiful placement by Zappe to stay out of the range. Comes in with the Transcendence before main layers his own on top. Overlap in favor of Winstrike. What can they do with that additional healing? Not much apparently. They're just trying to get control of this payload, stop from getting in motion. Hacked up Milky Man, nothing he can do, there's no shields, so he has to back off, otherwise it's just a sitting target for these long-range attacks from Unfixed. Shadow being put into the shield, not going to find anything else there, so wasted opportunity for Team Gigantti, but Facility makes it work with 1 kill and then a second as they keep up the tempo in the fight. Milky Man finding main as well. Gigantti starting off sloppy, but bringing it back to win out the fight.
Nice, clean, clear, clinical. Milky Man, Zappe rounding out that fight for them and getting their move on towards the second point with 2 minutes remaining on at the clock. Gigantti the ones with the ult advantage here as well, rolling things out. A few more changes from Winstrike. Kenzie across onto the main, Unfixed as the switcheroo. He goes across onto the Brigitte.
It's what they wanted to do originally, but like we said, the ult was too powerful to give away, so Unfixed coming out on the Brigitte. Kenzie now has the Mei. This is so wide open, it's really hard to get Mei to work in this one. There's no choke to force them through. Sharik's already lost his shield and his life. No reinforcements coming in for Winstrike as Eng's going to press forward. Milky Man finding 2 kills. Chow and Sharik again as the rest of Gigantti are going to force this one back onto point C. And Des, let's be honest, we see how point C goes all the time. Long stalls on the final section for Rado.
Say that today may well turn out to be a very different story. We'll see. Nice follow-up as well from Nilbo to get that kill onto Sharik.
Long stalls being delayed by the fact that Gigantti still have 6 ultimates.
But you're looking on the other side, they do have 4 online, both support ultimates available to them if they want to use them for that stall potential. But Gigantti, they have the option. They're showing them the last couple of fights at the very least. They can roll over. This is the time to show that they can do it.
Gravity moving forward, got armor underneath the shield. Always important to note. Gravity surge, kick things off early. Self-destruct.
Bash
going up high. Unfortunately, won't connect this time. Transcendence being used by Gigantti. The rally's also there. Milky Man throws down the ult. Kenzie's caught out. Facility caught out by 1 from Winstrike. Still, no deaths to kick off the fight. All the Discord on top of Facility, and it's enough for Chow to finish him off, as the rest of them are paying him a lot of attention. Going to keep Zappis in the corner, get the D-Mech, stall him out hopefully as they take out the rest of the team and buy more time for him to burn. But Sharik has to take him out. Now Milky Man, he's caught up in this corridor of death. Winstrike abusing the geometry to stagger out this fight as much as possible.
Gigantti burn every single ultimate they had available there as well. Winstrike, even with less, they used about 3, I think. Everything else is still available to them, or just coming back online once again. Very good signs to them with 1.5 minutes to go for Gigantti. Got to buck your ideas if we're going something special here, because like you said yesterday, well, earlier, Tridd, about yesterday, these 3rd points, we saw first and second point get rolled over very quick. 3rd and final point was held out for a good 4.5 minutes by both sides.
1 minute 20 on the clock. Team Gigantti need to push this round to the payload. They want to have another attempt. It buys them a second life, or a 1-up if you will, if Winstrike are able to finally get themselves that capture when it comes around to their offense. Eng trying to contest this high ground by booping them off a bit. Milky Man's happy to stay up there with his Brigitte for now, but will drop down and he's isolated. There's the Graviton Surge, the wall is going to divide off some of the sight lines. Team Gigantti have lots of effects on the screen as a Transcendence and a Blizzard is laid on top of each other. Milky Man being healed up, they can't shut him down. They're going to use the wall to block off his retreat. But the rest of Gigantti are with him. He's not isolated, he's going to stay alive as Facility presses forward. Sharik being caught out by Milky Man's Flame Strike. This puts Winstrike on the back foot as another kill comes in for Gigantti, and they're on the home stretch.
Sharik getting caught out quite a few times in this map. 2nd and 3rd point have definitely not been his strongest performance in this series so far. But it looks like they are going to finally start to get some cleanup here, and Gigantti will get the push on towards the 3rd and final point. There are a couple of ultimates online for Winstrike, but everything's looking to go green at the minute for Gigantti.
Sound barrier early, they want to get him out onto the point with this shatter, but he's not going to have an opportunity to drop it. Graviton Surge at the entrance buys him more time. Eng, the only person contesting as Kenzie comes in with a Tracer. He's kept away by Zappe and Facility.
That's exactly why you do not play Tracer in this meta. You get stunned by the Brigitte, you get melted pretty much immediately by the Zen. Good luck, have fun. Or no fun allowed is basically the end result.
9.2 seconds on the clock, though.
Yes, so at least they get something here as well. That will get increased to at least 1 minute, assuming Winstrike complete this no matter what time they get. Of course, what the actual value is, or how much extra time that gives over to Winstrike will again depend on how fast they can complete. So I'm interested now to see how things play out. If Gigantti go for the same thing again, trying to play goats in the 3-3, or if they try and mix things up, because so far they've very much so stuck to their guns, whilst it's been Winstrike kind of adapting around them and bringing different things to the fore.
Winstrike on offense. So Unfixed may want to stick with this Sombra. Saw it work out quite well for them. There was that weird interaction where they wanted a Brigitte, but they'd have to trade it off, so they went for suboptimal picks for an individual basis. They can try and make it work. Team Gigantti on the defense, traditional goats as expected. Winstrike, however, still need to see what Kenty's going to roll out with. He's not even teased a pick.
Likely begins with M.
I think they run May on the offense as well.
I think you can. Like we were speaking earlier on about Young and Beautiful and how they employed it on Numbani last week, was basically walling yourself inside a room and being able to fight with the point. But
that
even
was on
attack,
defense though.
It was, but even on attack you can do something very similar where if they try and chase you inside the building, you wall the entrance, they're stuck in there with you. Yeah. It's like that whole famous quote of, "I'm not stuck in here with you, you're stuck in here with me." It's one of those moments.
Watchmen, one of the worst film decisions in history.
It was a very bizarre film.
You can't, no, it's not a bizarre film. The subject material is great, but it's one of the hardest comics to adapt into a film. They did a good job, because it is an entertaining film to watch. Still don't quite capture the essence of it. I'm one of those purists when it comes to this.
You can tell where your true passions in life lie, Tridd. Comic adaptations.
They're usually the worst. Winstrike bringing out May. No one can adapt what they put to the source material with this May goat, apparently.
So you wall, and then your Ryan charges, and you hope to pin someone. Let's see if they go for it.
Well, they put the wall. Where's the charge?
No
Not there. They're going to use the Amp It Up instead. They're going to bring the entire team rather than just one member with that charge. May taking out Milky Man. The rest of Gigantti struggling to hold it. May again with Davin, and his Chow right in front of a lone Zenyatta. Right clicks the floor. He's having trouble tracking. The speedy little robot won't even get the kill. Well, he will. Zuppies go down. Winstrike not going to be held to the same degree they held Gigantti to on this first offense.
I'm really looking forward to Winstrike getting tested next week as well, because they play against Morningstar, who are arguably the strongest team that are in this group right now. And it's not that they've had an easy run, but they've had the easier of their 5 games in the first 3 weeks of this competition. Of course, they didn't play the first weeks. We've only seen them play 2 games so far. This is meant to be their first real test, and they're stacking up to it for sure. Looking very good playing into Gigantti, although Shrike gets up again.
Yeah, he was too far forward, split between the team. He had members of Team Gigantti in between him and the rest of his support, so Lilbo, easy for him to pick up with the help. But Chow, that's that Graviton Surge, all about getting a retreat. Nice right click there from Davin. Will secure a kill. Team Gigantti push Winstrike away. There are ults on the board for Winstrike to use. Kenzy's about to hit that Snow Globe. Sharik's about to get that Earth Shatter. We're looking at Chow with that Graviton Surge. Yep,
Facility getting everyone topped up with that extra armor as well, so a very tanky Gigantti for Winstrike to play into. Like you say, they've got those 4 ultimates coming online. Maybe they can make something work here, but that trans is there for Zuppe, and he's had a few good ones come out so far in this whole series, blocking a lot of the intent coming out of Winstrike. They're a little bit late on that bash there.
Well, the defensive barrier also protected from that. I believe the shield was down, so kept alive by Chow, but not going to do the same here as Zappis is immediately burned out. Facility comes in with a shatter, not a shatter, a bash. A little bit too late. Winstrike winning out this fight and not committing anything beyond that Earth Shatter from Sharif.
Unfixed screams, "Rally to me." Everyone gathers around him, charges forward, and they get the kills they need to cap this first point.
They're going to try and stagger this out even further. The ice wall's there. The intent is there. The execution, not so much.
The intent was there, and I think the execution never would have been, because the team were all coming out of spawn to keep them alive. It would have been a very tall order for them to be able to get that all the way through. But there's 4 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock here for Winstrike to push forward with, which is quite a bit more than what we saw Gigantti with.
Graviton on the point, gets it just over the top there with the bomb. Shaq will be caught out by it. We've got the Transcendence alive inside the Blizzard. May not be able to kill them. Chow will take out Davin. There's too much focus on the singular targets, but Zappe will find Chow afterwards. Ice Wall separating the fight. Milky Man frozen up but not killed. Facility in the same boat until N comes around and finishes him off. Shaq, of course, picking up the Shield Maiden as Main pushing back around. He's got armor underneath his shield, staying alive. And Zappis demech'd yet again. Kenzie taking out Zappe, and Unfixed following up on the Zappis after he was removed from the mech. Eng giving a case of tonight to Lilbo. Another one fight for Winstrike.
I really like how, in GOATs especially, it's a lot more apparent that, I think a very common misconception lots of people make when they first start playing Overwatch is that Zen's ult not only makes him invulnerable, but his whole team invulnerable. That's kind of the intent, because it heals 300 HP per second. That is a substantial amount. But you've got to remember that Azaria at full charge was 190. If you can layer a Discord orb in there, she's basically doing that full damage worth, and he can't keep them alive. So whenever you see the trans come out and they combat into a Grav Surge, watch the tank's health bars to see how fast they go down.
Well, Transcendence is going to keep everyone topped up. I don't think they're going to go down very fast at all. Team Gigantti just giving away territory until that Transcendence wears off. Shout for Sharek. Bash comes around, but he's out of the corner. Most of the team was in that little cubby hole. And then Kenty comes around and kills Facility. Transcendences are there. Davin's going to stay alive and long enough to take out Chow. Zappe was isolated. Nice boot back will separate the fight, because Zappe is going to be caught out. Unfortunately, they're frozen up after the Earth Shatter. Sharek, unfixed, find those kills. 3 on the board for the Brigitte.
Genius coming out of Kenzie and Shred. There's a new combo we haven't really seen before. What? Ice Wall. Shatter behind the wall and drop the wall as the Shatter's about to hit the ground.
Nice combo.
And obviously it just disappears, goes through and caught out both supports.
That might actually explain why we saw Sharek put an Earth Shatter into a May wall in previous weeks. They might have been trying to do that combo, but just didn't land it correctly.
Admittedly, it's only really going to work if there's no Ryan on the side with his wall up anyway, but it was just smart. It caught them off guard for sure.
Look at that, Blizzard locking off any support from the rest of this team after the May wall was dropped down. It's all about the zoning for Kenzie, and it's paying them dividends when it comes to fighting against Team Gigantti. Main able to take out Zappe. This team is so isolated and scattered when this May is dividing them up time and time again.
May is just that mosquito in the back line, just giving you an absolute headache because your Zarya can't step forward once the barrier is down. Look at it, sniping over the wall here as well. Oh, it's so cheeky, I love it. But she's a constant mosquito.
You got to think about overtime plays when it comes to it. The entire team can stack up down there and be boosted up. They won't have to go around the effective bend. They can just jump straight onto the payload if it comes to last minute. Shatter only finding Davin. They press forward. Stunned up. Can't continue this endeavor. And now they're being pulled together by the grab. There's the Transcendent. Sound barrier. Self-destruct over the top. Shatter finding multiple members of Winstrike.
Nice
the wall
yes.
blocks them away. Stems the bleeding. Won't protect Sharek. He will go down, but doesn't give over any unnecessary ult charges. Winstrike are being chased back to the spawn room.
I was thinking throughout that whole thing, where does the wall come, where does the wall come, and up it came, blocked out the advance from Gigantti. Really smart from Kenzie. Although they still lost the fight, they blocked so much ult charge going over to the side of Gigantti. Look at their ult bars right now. They used a lot in that last fight. They only got 15 to 25% charge on 3 of their team members because a lot of the damage and follow-up was blocked by May's Ice Wall. That now means that Winstrike can push in here with a couple of ultimates online for themselves. They've got that infamous Graviton Surge into the Blizzard, and the only thing to answer out Team Gigantti is going to be that Transcendence.
They might even need to use it to kill Milky Man. He's been caught off guard again, isolated from any support from his team. It's not just about position, it's about sightlines as well. And Zappe being knocked off, he's pretty much blinded by that rocket flail, as is Lil Bo and Facility. This is Winstrike pushing it around this final corner. Less than 2 minutes on the clock for them.
4 ultimates online. They had to use nothing to win that fight as well. That was entirely just going in with the raw abilities, mechanics, and auto attacks to clean Gigantti up. And Gigantti has said they've got 1 ultimate to play with, maybe 2 or 3 are about to come online as well, but everything is going for Winstrike right now, and they could potentially take this if they play this right.
Shatter through the payload, finds them all! Graviton will deny them their reward for that huge shatter, but the snow globe is there. Lil Bo throws up, finish off these targets. You've got an opportunity to do so. Lil Bo didn't go down, so he gets the sound barrier out, but they were already finding the kills. Earth Shatter being denied by the shield. Facility, the only one remaining on that point, as Lil Bo will be taken out. They're going to walk this one in. We're over a 1-minute advantage. The stall is live for Gigantti. Shatter being put onto the point, and Davin comes from an alternative angle on the Wrecking Ball. Tries to buy time. They're sprinting out of the spawn room, but not fast enough. Winstrike are going to have a sizable time back to work with here.
This May Blizzard is so obnoxious to deal with when it's put on top of the Graviton Surge as well, because often what you're seeing Kenzie do is drop the Blizzard behind the team. So on one side you've got a Blizzard, on the other the main body coming through from Winstrike. You either turn the Ryan Shield to block the Blizzard freezing up your team, and by doing that you risk yourself taking all the projectile damage, the Discord orbs coming out of the Zen. You're going to get pelted. It's a really difficult scenario to be in as a defending team against this comp, and you can see why Winstrike swear by it so much.
Nearly double the time bank of Gigantti, but we've seen them work wonders with 1 minute. The overtime pushes coming out from these guys are unreal. They need to win this, otherwise they will drop the series. Winstrike push themselves closer and closer to that #1 spot confirmation. And Gigantti still have to fight tooth and nail in week 5 to climb everything they can. They can just win this map. They can force out the tiebreaker and then take it back to Winstrike on control. Maybe still win out the series.
Just win this map. Forehead.
Lol.
It feels like one of those moments. Look at the...
Hey, they haven't got a lot of time bank to burn, right? 1 minute. Gonna have some creative plays, a little bit on the sneaky side. I think they're actually going to try and come up behind them. They're going to take the path down there and cut them off when they get on the payload. But I don't know what the end game is here from this.
That's the plan, I think, is to come behind them and destroy them if they can. You've even got the Brigitte playing third person. Here they go on the move. Nope, just going to choose to play normally. At them. I think they were hoping someone would come up the stairs here behind that red building and then catch them as they came up with the ice wall. But not to happen.
Not to happen. They're just going to keep them out, stall them here. Protective barriers used both at the same time. The aggression comes out. catches Winstrike off guard as Unfixed and Kenzie are going to go down already.
Eng.
They froze up Davin, but the damage wasn't there to kill him. Eng amping it up to no avail. Team Gigantti being very proactive on their first offense.
Winstrike are going to massively kick themselves if they throw this one away when they've had double the time back, when they've got all the opportunity and the initiative to pull off an amazing defense like we've seen them do 3 times so far in this series. Here they're at risk of potentially giving this first point away and then so much more because it's so hard to stop that second point push.
10 seconds remaining for Gigantti. It's going to be done in overtime. I've already said they've been able to do it before. Off to the side, Zappis going to go up, pressing forward. Milky Man close to the shatter, stunned up. He's going to have this very quickly as the ice will come to the plate. Throws it down. Winstrike are lying on the floor, ready to receive their demise. It's going to be going up. Gigantti, it's all green as they push on to the next section.
1/3 of the way through their 1 minute overtime push all the way to the end of Dorado. That would be one hell of a story to bring us through to the 5th map, taking us onto control. As we saw yesterday, it can result in some very close matches.
Gonna have another fight coming up shortly as Winstrike coming out of a now different spawn room to contest this one. Have to come together though. Press forward around the church. Ult charges, looking similar unless Gigantti, they've got those 2 ults, the rally being popped early, and they're gonna have a Transcendence online for Zappe, and a whole mess of them coming on earlier. Transcendence used early by Main to keep them alive and try and contend the point. Grabs on surge there, laid afterwards. What are you going to do? Remove the shield. Self-destruct over the top finds Main, and they're going to take up another kill onto Sharek. Eng will find facility, but it's not enough. 1 kill cannot end this overtime push for them. Gigantti still remain in control. They are building up ults, however. Next fight could spell demise for Gigantti.
That's what they're looking towards, but Gigantti have been smart and held on to a good few ults of their own. Most importantly, the 2 support ultimates. They're the ones that want to keep online and ready to use. Problem is, you start losing a fight, you're going to be forced to pop one of them. You don't have a choice in the matter. So regardless of what happens in the next fight, whether the Blizzard comes out at the start or not, you might just find Winstrike pushing Gigantti to make use of those ults.
Here we go, what could be the final fight? Kenzie about to get that Blizzard online. Rally being popped early, gives him all that armor. You want to make sure everyone's going in at that full strength payload. Shatter through the payload, multiple members found on the floor. Charge follows up and takes out facility immediately. Sound barrier, the double support ultimate comes out. You've already lost 1 member. They were sitting in the Blizzard. Kenzie threw it down. Here come the kills out. And Milky Man Shatter whiffed to the wind as the rest of Winstrike are going to press against Team Gigantti and remove them from the payload. Overtime ticks down, but they've got some distance to climb on their offense.
Unfixed with a real nice batter. I keep calling it batter, man. Shield bash. Batter is what we call the shield bash into Shatter, but only sometimes. Either way, really nice shield bash coming through to interrupt the ultimate coming out of Milky Man. I dig it. It interrupted, it did the job they needed. And Sharek Shatter at the start, also really huge. Meant they could catch out those key tanks. I think actually it was Davin got caught out in the mix of it all as well. No, sorry, Vigility got caught out in the mix of things alongside Davin, and things just didn't really go too well from there.
Once you've got a 2/3 HP Brigitte lined up there, ready for a very aggressive Reinhardt to charge, I don't think you're staying alive much longer.
But what I liked about Winstrike, especially in that final fight, is they came out with aggression. And I've always said, this was the big thing again that I levied against Gigantti last week, was that they were a bit too reactive. They weren't being proactive in their play. They were not the ones taking the aggression to Winstrike. They won those first few points by quite literally just trying to roll over Winstrike and push them all the way through. And Winstrike said, well, we've got the ults now. We can afford to be aggressive. And that's exactly what they did. They led with the Shadow. They caught out 3 or 4 members. And off the back of that, closed out the round. But that's not a bad push, considering they only had a minute to play with. Gigantti have got themselves a good distance there. Almost at the second point, 2/3 of the map. Definitely nothing to scoff at.
Saw a very fast initial start from Winstrike. If they can match it on this attempt, they could definitely push it out to the same distance Gigantti and then effectively surpass it, even if it is by 0.01 of a meter to make that happen. Sharek blocking out a lot of the damage already. They're moving on to the payload. So aggressive hold by Team Gigantti as expected on the defense, but they're going to take the fight to it. Milky Man truly isolated. Protective barrier comes in the nick of time to save him. They haven't got it alive. Frozen up Davin. Where's the right click? Doesn't matter. Main's going to do it instead as they keep the pressure on with this Freezy Blast cannon. Milky Man did find Sharek, but the spawn advantage definitely in favor of Winstrike. They're going to be able to reinforce it and keep it going. Just need to keep the kills coming in and not get delayed much further. Facility will go down. Eng being the double frag master today. Triple make that as Lilbo comes in the fold as well. Unfixed will find Zappis after a D-mech from Sharek, and the payload's now in motion. It's
funny thinking about it, because a lot of players and coaches are supposed to potentially adding more soft CC into the game as a response to Brigitte coming in with the flail, for example, and the shield bash. May is that soft CC. You get caught out by that wall and you're kind of stood there like, oh, I'm being frozen, I can move at about half a mile an hour, I'm not going anywhere in a tiny fast, and you get burned down. She's a great example of it. Start playing it, guys.
There was a go button used. Kenzie already dropped before the fight kicked off, and Winstrike, they've committed with the amping up. Gigantti are going to deny Winstrike control of the payload. Momentum entirely killed on this push, and overtime pushes rely so heavily on that.
They do. There's one more opportunity here for Winstrike thanks to that longer time back they had. If they had 1 minute remaining like Gigantti did, this round would now be over, and we will be talking about map number 5. But now they have 30 seconds to push back in from that 1 minute 55 time back. They have a couple of ultimates online to play with, but Gigantti very resiliently have built up their own. They've got 5 to play with, and once again, every time I look at this guy, he seems to have the ultimate online. Zoppe has got that trance. 30
seconds plus the overtime push. They need to win the fight and not lose. Eng, all out, will get away, but Vegeta is so far away from the team. How are they supposed to reinforce them? Shark pressing forward, Blizzard to create some space. It's not going to affect when anyone is there. Ball a little bit too far forward, but Shark comes in with a shatter. Nice charge, won't connect unfortunately. Graviton surge, self-destruct. This could be Gigantti winning it all, and the kill feed's all green. We're going to map 5.
What a final wipe as well. Gigantti cushioning the aggression out of Winstrike. Now Blizzard a bit too shallow as well. The only people it was giving a bit of a chill to was his own team, and they'll be used to that being from Russia and all. But still, this means we go through to map 5. Gigantti with the opportunity to take this series away from Winstrike as well with a great 4th map performance.
It's not even reverse sweep. They've been back and forth all series, and we're going to have a conclusion of that coming up. Nepal is, of course, our tiebreaker map for this season. So we're going to be seeing that shortly afterwards.
What I've just realised is both teams have won the maps they have picked.
Ooh.
Now we come onto this map, it's Winstrike's... No, it's tiebreaker.
Who won the map that they didn't get to choose? It was Winstrike.
It was the first
the control
one.
archetype.
Absolutely.
So,
and very decisively as well.
Very decisively. We're going to Nepal. I mean, I'm looking at Village there. That's a May map.
Quite possibly. That's a bit of RNG as to whether or not you get to play it. Yeah. But if it comes to it, then yeah. I mean, even when it comes to playing on Sanctum as well, might be the same sort of story.
A lot of denial being used. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we are going to bring you the final map of this series. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders. The series has gone the distance. We're going to map number 5. That means taking a visit to Nepal as our tiebreaker map. Team Gigantti winning out Dorado. means they have an opportunity to clinch victory one last time.
They do, and it's been such a back-and-forth series so far, and as we both said, the maps that have been won by both sides is when they got to pick the map choice. Going into map 5, no one picks it. It's pre-selected, so the only evidence we have to go on is how the first map on Busan went, and that was a straight roll over for Winstrike 2-0. However, there has been a whole series that has happened since then. Gigantti have warmed into it and shown they are more than capable of winning maps. The big question that comes into it now is how do they perform as we head in. Looks like we're going to start things off on Sanctum.
Good call there. I'm glad you can spot that out from the window image we had. Very brief one.
It's kind of sad when you think about it that you can identify a whole map by something as simple as that.
Yeah.
A single structure. Oh, I get everything now. Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly the geometry of this entire place. Winstrike need to get this victory here. They're already guaranteed playoffs. Gigantti, not necessarily yet, but I think going to the 5th map has by some map win differential. But Winstrike and Gigantti, they're not fighting for qualification. They pretty much got it already. They're fighting for seeding, for placement. They want to make sure they have the most advantageous opponent in that first map.
Gigantti might find themselves in a spot where they could potentially not make playoffs if they don't win today, because it means next week becomes a very important game for them. Of course, also pending other results, but both playing out on this Monkey Goats. Much more dive-based variant of what we see normally coming out of the 3-3 competition we're so used to here in Europe. Things play a little bit differently.
Zility getting the first kill onto Unfixed puts the ball in Winstrike's court. Do they fight or do they fly away? You're going to have to fly for now. Can't compete with it. Point unlocks in 2 seconds. It's going to be Gigantti taking this one first.
Well, you fly in or fly out. Depends which way you look at it. A lot of people call it floats, which is a name I personally detest, but I can understand why they're saying it. Flying goats, as they seem to call it. A lot of it's just about jumping in and making a name for yourself, basically. Diving into the backline and causing chaos, as Winston and Diva often do in dive-based compositions.
I don't want to have to fight Davin when he's got 100 charge on this Zarya. He's got that from his team as they dive into the backline. Isolate Sharek, easy kill in that corner. Yet again, Winstrike playing one man down. Is Gigantti going to force them off the point and get a lot of ult charge for their bonus? As they're pushed back to the spawn room again, 25% and climbing for Gigantti.
Run these goddamn kids out of your backyard. Time to get out of here. Well, that's exactly what they've done. 30% now on the clock for Gigantti, and ultimates are coming online as well. I was looking at a lot of the ult charges there and how it's being matched by both sides, and Davin was at ultimate by the time Kenzie was hitting about 65-70%. So really good fast ult charge. And in fact, for most of Gigantti, naturally off winning the back of that fight, they're pretty much even.
Transcendence being used early. Winstrike want to press onto this point. Now they have to contend against the Graviton Surge, pulling them together without that support ultimate. It's just easy pickings for Gigantti. Look at the difference in control map play between our first map of the day and Gigantti now. Burning one ultimate is enough to shut down Winstrike. They got 5 more to go, and they got 40% more on the board.
Winstrike were just asking for it there when they had the trans forced out with all the aggression that came in. Once Bane pressed that Q, Davin was like, oh, well, give it 2 or 3 seconds and I'll just tag this onto the end of your Transcendence and we will melt you as soon as that is over. Winstrike have got ultimate online, so maybe now they can start staging a fight back, but at 75%, this could very well be their last chance of fighting to take control of Sanctum.
It's looking very dominant for Team Gigantti. The tools they have at their disposal just simply outmatch what Winstrike can offer, but they're getting there. The longer this fight goes on, the more opportunities they have to contend them. They're going to throw that Graviton Surge down. Milky Man stealing a Transcendence and a Primal Ray. Self-destruct right in front of him. Zappe going to tank it, but he's in Transcendence. He's invulnerable to damage. Self-destruct over the top. Won't find anyone. Kenzie nearly losing his life. He's been put off the edge of the map. Is he been able to stay up there? No, he's going to fall down to the environmental. As Sharek now moves in, trying to do something similar with these hands, throwing everyone around, but they're not finding any kills. Zappe takes out Sharek. He's not going to be able to carry on this momentum. They've got another Transcendence online, but they're sitting in a grab. Nowhere for them to go as Zappe, uncontested on his back line, throwing orbs everywhere and conking on their noggins. Winstrike going to fall down and lose map number 1.
Tracer getting in for just a bit of stall time, but you're absolutely right. This one is going all over to Gigantti, and Winstrike, not so much crushed, but definitely not having a solid performance like we saw on the first map of this series. Does mean now we're heading to round 2 and potential game point. Team Gigantti heads up, he's like, yep, peace out, guys. I'm out of here.
The orbs don't kick him back, so he's not going to be able to do like a right-click jump on Zarya, unfortunately.
Hasn't quite mastered the art of levitation truly by flying using his fists yet.
Hang on a minute. Doesn't make any sense.
All right, flying then.
No,
forget the word levitation.
Why does Zenyatta float on that ground, but then he just falls?
I've done it magnets, mate.
Magnets.
Magnets,
Easy solution. Let's go to here. Easy solution for Winstrike. Put the Mei back in the mix. That's their play. It's what they rely on, and it's worked so well for them. Team Gigantti, can they shut down Winstrike when Kenzie is on his Mei?
There was a considerable lack of boops in that last round as well. Like yesterday we saw that map, there was Lucio's getting kills all game long, it seems, actually. Managing things really, really well in terms of getting behind the team above them, dropping down low, booping, getting back up high, still nice and safe. But let's see what Kenzie can do. So far, it's worked out pretty well with them when they've employed this Mei, but now is the most important time for them to make it work.
Playing around the pillar, they isolated a few members, but it's Sharek going down. The exact opposite thing should happen. You need to take out Milky Man when you're dropping the Mei as Davin finds a second kill. Lilbo follows it up. First fight going over to Gigantti, and they will get the first cap.
There's the Gigantti we all know, love, and remember. Playing aggressive, getting in the face of Winstrike, not giving them time to play their game and catch members of Gigantti out with that wall. Now already, that first cap has gone over. That's 90% remaining until Winstrike lose this series. Such a hard-fought series that they've really fought down tooth and nail to the bitter end. But as it stands, Gigantti, well, they're in control of the point. Zuppe, what a hero again. Look at his ult charge, nearly at 80% towards that trans once again. This guy's been my player of the series by a clear mile. He always has trans online.
This is your Zenyatta on Overwatch League practice. Sharek taking out Lilbo with that charge. Will stay alive. Transcendence comes in, but Davin's frozen up. He's sitting in the trans finally. Kenzie going down low. Nice wall to keep him alive. Davin can't find the angle. Oh, he knows family. He can't get around the statue though. He evades death. Only separated by what appears to be brass. Kenzie moving around the corner. Chow's already found Zappis. And they're keeping this going. Man advantage. Oh, Shatter dropped onto Kenzie. Transcendence is there. Milky Man goes down. The committal from Team Gigantti is having it folded back onto them as Chow, again, he's dragging out this fight and multiple members are going to die. The retake for Winstrike is there.
Kenzie with a cheeky half-second look at Zuppe and just right-clicks and down he goes. Nice snap judgment there. 55% for Gigantti, and Winstrike will start ticking this one back. And let's not forget as well, Winstrike is still sat on 0 at this point. If they win this round, we do have to go into the third and final round to decide this one on Village, which will probably play quite heavily in Kenzie's favour, actually. So Gigantti, they want to end this one here and now. They're playing on the high ground, so they can't get walled off nice and easy. They just need to drop and stay as a collective unit on the way in.
They can always get walled off, Des. That's what you don't realise. Look at the geometry of the map. Shatter, the back line, Lilbo goes down. Oh, this ball was on, but they couldn't finish him off. Team Gigantti getting the kills. Graviton to try and turn this around.
Oh, look at
Sharek, you can't fight from down there, but the Blizzard's on top. Where's the damage? Milky Man will drop names and want to find him. Zappis goes and clears him out afterwards. Transcendence committed from Gigantti. That's actually a win for Winstrike because they may lose the point, but now they don't have to contend with that support ultimate on their next attack.
It kind of tells you a lot when you consider it a win that Zuppe's ultimate was used in a fight, because that's just how impactful they've been all game long. Admittedly, the first fight at this point, he did use it after 2 members had already gone down. The D-Mech had come through for 1, and the other one had died a good few seconds prior to that. It's a bit late on that use, but other than that, been pretty much flawless. Now for Winstrike, that last fight for them was anything but flawless. Seeing Sharek get booped off as the freeze came down meant there was no threat from the Rhine. They could just ignore the Blizzard, essentially. And Kenzie died very quick.
Sound barrier to kick it off. They're going to try and fight against them. Graviton pulls them together. Where's your support ultimate? You use the sound barrier early. Self-destruct over the top, finds 2. Zappis coming in big, and the rest of Gigantti will push this into 90%. Any resistance Winstrike puts out now will just be a fleeting shadow of what they can achieve with 6 members.
95%, 5% to go. No one's anywhere near the point. They really need Lucio, but I have a feeling he's not going to make it to the point, Tridd. 99, no one's going to touch. Gigantti fighting their way back into the series that started off so strongly for Winstrike, and they claim a win and guarantee themselves a spot in playoffs.
Back and forth all series. They're going to be joining Morning Stars and Winstrike guaranteed for finals. There still remains a fight for that 4th and final place in playoffs, and that's going to be playing out over week 4 and 5.
And like I say, I was really happy to see Gigantti come into their own a bit more as the series went on. Completely different story to the first map we saw, where Winstrike struck them out 2-0 on Busan. Coming into Nepal, 2-0 to Gigantti. It just showed that a bit of warm-up from them can do them wonders. Again, started the series quite slow. Proactivity wasn't really there. It definitely started showing a bit more on Dorado and really shone through on that final map. And I'm really pleased to see them performing at that tier we all expected of them back in week 1.
Is Gigantti back? Well, we'll hopefully find out and have confirmation from our analysts as they break down the second half of that series.